them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out.
Hey, how you doing, everyone? This is Pastor Willard Maxwell. I just wanted to greet you before this week's broadcast. I'm right here at the historical Hampton University, where we've just celebrated the Divine Nine. The Divine Nine is a historical African-American fraternities and sororities. What we're going to do in this broadcast is not call out, but call up. This broadcast is going to educate you, give you some vital statistics, and give you a call to action and show you what you can do to help people who are oppressed and to also help uplift people who may not look like you. Also, on next week, I want you to be tuned in next week. Next week, we're going to have a broadcast, and we're going to have an array of churches, white churches, black churches, Hispanic churches, everyone getting together in a worship of unity and thanksgiving. But what I need you all to know, just because you take pride in who you are, there's nothing wrong with taking pride in who you are, but you still need to make sure that you're able to work with every other people in brotherly and sisterly love. So please, in this broadcast, take it for what it is. It's a sermon to educate you and uplift you and call you into action in a time when there's so much divisiveness going on here in America. Stay tuned, and I promise you, you will be blessed. Divine Nine, where you at? I know most of y'all are in Divine Nine. Divine Nine, you in the house? Yes. I want to just give you just a short motivation, but I just want to make sure you understand we still need you to push us. Divine Nine, you have pushed us through history, and we need you to continue to do that. Just give me a little moment to kind of break down some things. Before I start speaking, let me just give some thanks to some people. Again, let us thank Hampton University, Mrs. Spells, amen. Thank you so much. Dr. Harvey, the Proton Therapy Center, Brother Mark Rollison, the voice, yes, won't he do it, amen. Brother Sherman Grant for the last moment taking over the program, all elected officials, the praise team. In fact, did you realize that was a Divine Nine praise team, right? Amen, amen. New Beach Grove, my great members. Anytime I have any type of idea, y'all look at me like, what you talking about, but y'all still follow me, so I appreciate you. But y'all face do let me know, y'all like, I don't know if this is going to work or not. New York Life, thank you so much. New York Life, stand up. New York Life members, we thank them so much for helping us organize this. They were behind the scenes volunteering and doing everything. So I just thank God for them. Amen. Brother Keith Johnson, we thank him so much. And Sister Cassandra Murphy, the Peninsula Pan-Atlantic Council President and Vice President. Sound people, photographers. The YMCA, thank you all so much, and the Divine Nine for being here. But this is something that baffles me when I began to look at some of the crime statistics and look at this particular thing that still is going on in our race and our history. And when you look at the statistic of the FBI crime stats, right? Interesting discoveries came. It says white-on-black homicides are likely to be justified 250% in non-stand-your-ground states and 350% in stand-your-ground states. Both numbers are terrible, but the statistics justifiable homicides are 100% higher in states that have stand-your-ground laws. 31 states have stand-your-ground laws that allow for the use of deadly force in self-defense with no duty to retreat when outside the home or specific locations outside the home. 24 states have unlimited stand-your-ground, no duty to retreat, no laws, no matter where they occurred. But look, more blacks are killed in America, and bear with me, every year than the total number of U.S. servicemen and women that have died in 10 years of armed conflict in Iraq and Afghanistan. More than 94% of blacks are killed by other blacks. Blacks make up only 12.5% of the total population, but nearly 50% of murder victims in America. Blacks kill more members of their own race every year than do all other races in America combined. Each year, roughly 7,000 blacks are murdered. 94% of them were murdered by another black person. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, between 1976 and 2011, there were 279,384 black murder victims, using the 94% figure, which means 262,621 were murdered by other blacks. Again, though blacks are only 12.5% of the nation's population, they account for more than 50% of the homicide victims. Nationally, black homicides victimization rate is 6 times more higher than whites, and in some cities it's 22%. Coupled with being the most of the nation's homicide victims, blacks are the most victims of violent crimes and personal assault. Conservatives would say that a much larger issue of how might we interpret the deafening silence about the day-to-day murder in black communities compared to the national uproar over the killing of Tamir Rice and others. They will say that such a response by politicians, civil rights organizations, and mainstream news media could easily be interpreted as blacks killing other blacks is of little concern, but is unacceptable for a white person to kill a black person. They use these statistics sometimes to camouflage the truth that our justice system serves more injustices to minority communities than justice. But we cannot negate the second truth that minorities kill more minorities than non-minorities kill minorities. Black-on-black crime is truly an epidemic. It's a shame that the greatest danger to the lives of our young black men are black men. And statistically, black men have a better chance of surviving on the front lines in the war than in their own neighborhoods. But the truth is, white people kill more white people. Asian people kill more Asian people. Chinese people kill more Chinese people. People that kill the people they're around. But now that I've given you the statistical problems, it made you feel real bad. Let me give you the solution. We as a people must return to what got us out of slavery, what caused us to escape the oppression of Jim Crow laws, to what got us from under the shame of colored restrooms, to what got us equal education and voting rights. We have to return to our spiritual roots. We have to return to the day when the church was led by preachers such as Dr. King that believed in the social gospel to promote justice and not just build kingdoms unto ourselves. We are angry because we feel that we were wronged every day. We are angry about foreclosure. We are angry about more than Tamir Rice and others, but we have got to channel that anger into action, that hurt into help, and avoid getting caught up in a fad of a fashion statement of a hoodie and a bag of Skittles without using it to promote action. We have to get connected to legislation. That's why I love Bobby Scott. He's always everywhere. He don't care if you voted for him or not. He gonna make sure he let you know what's going on in your city. Section 4 of the Voters' Right Bill was overhauled and gutted, all while we were fussing about during the time when Paula Deen called you the N-word. Racist folk been calling you that for years. We say it in our own music. Stop focusing on frivolous stuff. We should be rewriting laws and making sure that the stand your ground laws don't get overturned across America and prevent them from taking root here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The Stand Your Ground law grants individual free passes to murder, even if you are the initiator or the aggressor. Trayvon Martin had a hoodie on because it was raining, but prominent people such as Geraldo and Pat Robertson made statements saying Trayvon's hoodie made him look like a thug, therefore Zimmerman's murder was justifiable. Stop crying about what they say and hit them where it hurts by not supporting the shows they promote and the schools they represent, just as Dr. King did in the boycott in Montgomery. Sit down with your children and grandchildren and teach them how to conduct themselves in certain settings, starting with church. Let them know in certain environments you can't just let yourself go. You have got to be guarded with your behavior so that no one can justifiably accuse you of anything. I'm not saying raise weak children or scary children. I'm saying teach them how to make good and sound decisions. However, they will not be able to live a balanced life unless they are spiritually grounded. Until us preachers and parents stop chasing after stuff and being put more energy and resources into connecting to our families, churches, and communities, our people will be lost. Work on your kids right now. Don't use Trayvon Martin and Sandra Bland as symbols. Use them to open your eyes and get prepared spiritually, because only God can deliver you. See, only through the power of God, family, church, and community can you be delivered. We talk about other religions, but only 1% of them are in jail, and they invest in their own communities and then teach their children to embrace their history and to be mindful about the decisions they make. We talk about Islam, but only 3% of them in jail. They see a young man with their pants hanging down. They don't judge them or condemn them. They give him a suit, tell him to put his pants up, give him some bean pies, and put him to work. The rest of those who are incarcerated are church folk. Why? Because we don't live out the dream and stand against the issues that threaten our communities. We need more voter registration drives, not just during the times of elections. We need to make sure that our kids, we need to make sure that they have after-school programs. We need to ensure that they're safe while we're at work. Trayvon Martin was gunned down while wearing a hoodie to protect him from the rain on the way home from his daddy's house. It may be raining and our children have nowhere to go and maybe wandering around outside looking suspicious to some demented vigilante. We got to make sure that we take care of our kids after school. You know, most kids get in trouble at the school than they get in trouble any other place because they don't have anywhere to go. It's too much technology. It's too much resource we have than to still have some latchkey kids. Oh, we need to practice. We need a practical people that are not afraid to speak up for all Americans that face injustice. Can I tell you something? Stop begging God to change your situation and ask him to change you and give you the boldness to change your own situation. The reason why we don't want to speak out is because we know that those who speak out for social justice are assassinated. Dr. King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, JFK, Jesus. I know you say Jesus was crucified because you want to be able to sit at home and cry about it. But if I say he was assassinated, it makes you want to get up off your blessed assurance and spring into action. He was assassinated for speaking up for women's rights when the adulterous woman was about to be stoned. He asked where the man that was with her. He was assassinated because he stood up for other races when he liberated the Samaritan woman at the well. He was assassinated because he stood up against oppressive high priests that used religion to manipulate and take advantage of people. He was assassinated because he spoke up against the unjust system of rules that oppressed the poor. We don't even fear the physical death of assassination. We fear the assassination of our reputation if we speak. We fear the assassination of our memberships in our country clubs. We fear the assassination of acceptance of high-class society. You have to be like Jesus and stand for justice and equality. But you cannot learn how to do it without being a part of your local church and leading the community. That's why I love my Divine Nine, brothers and sisters. Come on, Divine Nine. I got some volunteers out there. I need you to help me illustrate this close. The Divine Nine. I love y'all. Whether y'all church members or non-church members. You've been curating the change and you've been advocates for our brothers and sisters. Keep pushing us. When they said we were nothing and we had us in so-called separate but equal in the days of Jim Crow, a Divine Nine man, the Divine Nine First Lady of Civil Rights by the side had a dream that we would one day get to the mountaintop and use the empty words of equality of a racist nation against itself and let them know that they wrote the people a bad check because their bank of injustice, their bank for justice came up insufficient funds. Keep pushing us, Divine Nine. Oh, can you push somebody forward? Help me. And when Lady Justice turned a blind eye to our people, a Divine Nine man dared to become a lawyer of justice for the NAACP and became the first black man appointed to the Supreme Court. Keep pushing us, Divine Nine. I know they locked you up because you dared to try to purchase NBC and Discovery Network, but when they said your image would not sell as a Divine Nine man, you ignored the critics and became the first black man to star in a television series, and later you curated positive images of black people to the world and motivated us to become doctors and lawyers. Keep pushing us, Divine Nine. Pushing you means to move forward. Push somebody somewhere. You are legendary. You are a legendary singer and actress. But because you were a proud Divine Nine woman, you put it all on the line and were blacklisted. That you used your platform to stand up for your people. Why? Because you was a proud Divine Nine woman. You had 4.5 speed. You were named the Western Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year twice and became the only player in NCAA history to rush for 4,000 yards and pass for 10,000 yards. You went to the NFL. You were the breakthrough athlete of the year. But when they blacklisted you, but you gave it all up because you was a proud Divine Nine man. You said, I give up this football. I give up this position. Why? Because I love my people more than I love this game. Can I bring it right home? They said you You weren't intelligent. They said a black school couldn't do any type of scientific breakthrough. They thought it should have been at VCU. They thought it should have been somewhere else. But you was a proud Divine Nine man. And you said, I'm going to bring a proton therapy center right here at Hampton University. Why? Because you were a Divine Nine man. You said, I'm not going to be limited by what you put on me. I'm not going to let America, I'm not going to let society, I'm not going to let racism determine where I go. Divine Nine, keep pushing us forward. Keep standing for us. Keep rocking with us. I promise you, if you keep walking in this Divine Nine, I want to take my hat off to you. I'm not Greek. I'm not in a thread of eternity, but I know my history. When they tried to put you in separate equal, you banded together. When they lynched you and hung you on trees and made strange fruit, you stood together in brotherly and sisterly love. When you went through Brown versus Board of Education, Plessy versus Ferguson, you went through unjust separate but equal, yet you kept standing. You kept standing. You led civil rights movements. You had sit-ins. You taught us to love our blackness even when people put it down. You taught us to love ourselves. Now we still love our white brothers and sisters. We still love our Hispanic and Latinos, but we still must learn how to embrace our history. One thing I love about the Jews don't care if you don't want to talk about the Holocaust, they're going to talk about it. They don't care how mad you get. You know what the problem with our people? You're always looking for permission from other people, as if though what you're saying is untrue because they don't. Who cares? What I learned from the Divine Nine, from watching you all from afar, is that you stuck together. You took pride in yourself. When they called you the N-word, you said I was a Negro. When they called you beneath everybody, you said black was beautiful. You kept us together. I know sometimes the church demonizes you and they call it a cult because it's something they don't understand, and maybe they didn't cross the burning sands. Maybe they didn't make it past the paddles. Maybe it was just a little too much. But I need you to continue to embrace your legacy. Continue to embrace your culture. Continue to work with everybody, though. But working with everybody doesn't mean that you have to dissolve yourself into everybody. Still be proud and be black, but still deal with all different cultures. See, Jesus embraced who he was. But the amazing thing about it is when Jesus was preaching the gospel, he didn't trust the Jews to go to nowhere but the Jews. It wasn't until the Holy Spirit hit them on the day of Pentecost, then he said, take this gospel from Jerusalem to Judea, to Samaria, to the outer ends of the earth. Then he said, because you have the Holy Spirit, I can trust you somewhere else. But this is the key. If God can't trust you with yourself, if God can't trust you with yourself, he can't trust you with anyone else. Until we learn as a people to stick together, until we learn as a people to have the same motives that you have as Divine Nine, until your spirit begins to seep into the fabrics of our people, we will continue to lag behind because we always trying to be accepted by everybody. I don't care if you like me or not. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to joke when I want to joke and be serious when I want to be serious. That's just who I am. You need to be proud of who you are. And I just say thank you. Continue to push us, even when we don't understand. Even when our people talk about you, keep pushing us. Because throughout history, you pushed us. You know why? A lot of frats and sororities were leaders. You know why Lena Horne was able to give up her job? You know why King was able to walk and not care? You know why Kaepernick is able to kneel? Because he knows that he has a brotherhood. They know that they have a sisterhood that's going to have their back no matter what. Isn't it beautiful to see the alphas, the AKAs? Make sure I don't forget nobody. Say it in order. Thank you for my cheat sheet. Let me make sure, because, I ain't frat. Lord have mercy. I don't want to hear nobody talking about you didn't call my incorporated sorority. Let me make sure I find. Yeah, let me go in to start over. It's good to see the alphas, the AKAs, the kappas, the omegas, the deltas, Phi Beta Sigmas, the Zeta Phi Betas, the Sigma Gamma Rhos, the Alpha Phi Theta. It's good to see all of you all together, cooperating like you've done in history. The problem with our people is a lot of times history repeats itself because we get too comfortable and we forget to help pull each other up. So I just thank you, Divine Nine, for not causing us to be stereotypical crabs in a barrel people. We thank you that when you came out, you pulled others up. We thank you for leading the civil rights movements. We thank you for quitting jobs. We thank you for even in this common era right now for taking a knee, even if it meant losing your career, because you understand brotherhood and sisterhood is more important than money. I love y'all. I thank y'all. I just wanted to celebrate you all because I wanted you to understand. I know they say February. Amen. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for the push. I know they say February is Black History Month, but it's whatever month I want it to be. But I thank you all so much for being here. What I want to do now, I want to pray a prayer over you. Hey, again, thank you so much for watching the broadcast. Again, if you want to get the entire message, the message information in order to order it is on the screen. Inbox me, email me if you have any questions. Also, stay tuned and then tune in next week when we have our unity service, when we have an array of different races and nationalities and ethnicities worshiping together. I promise you, you will be blessed.